An eyeball covered by a red no sign spins into view. White text on a black background reads, Mason in the dark. A blind man's journey through the wacky world of reading, writing, and other silly bollocks. Brought to you from beyond the black screen. Cut to black. Hello everyone. Mason here. How you doing? It's been a while since I did one of these, but the dynamic duo of Joe and Mary from BookBuds tagged me in the Bookish A-Z Hot or Not tag. They seem so lovely on the surface, don't they? But let me ask you this, what kind of merciless monsters would force an infamously indecisive, notorious fence-sitter to do a tag with binary choices? It's just such a betrayal. I don't know how they could do this to me. Oh no, that's not fair. I know this isn't your choice, Mary. No, I know whose choice this is, because Mary reads books about sexy fireman Santas. She could never be this heartless. This is all you. Isn't it, Joey? You know what? No, that's it. I'm not doing this. I'm leaving. What the fuck are you? I don't think it matters who I am, Mr. in the dark. I think you better sit the fuck down and do what the boss tells you, capiche? Alright. Jesus. I'm okay, fine. I didn't realise he thought it was this important. Let's get on with the tag then. You gotta sound more enthusiastic about it, you muck. Alright, let's get on with this tag. First up on Hot or Not, it's A for audiobooks. Ugh, they're so not hot. Only losers listen to audiobooks. Hey, I'm a narrator. Yeah, I know. You gonna argue with a man with a gun? No, I'm not. Yeah, so audiobooks suck and only losers listen to them. B is Buildings Roman? It's Buildings Roman, you fool. Are you gonna keep interrupting? Do you want to do the tag form? Okay. Alright. Okay. Yes, Buildings Roman, which is apparently coming-of-age stories. The first thing that springs to mind is Submarine by Joe Dunthorne. I've never read the book, but I really like the film, so I'll go with Hot. C is for children's books, and they're definitely not hot because they seem so cute and wholesome, but most of the time, just beneath the surface, they are truly, deeply grotesque. D is for digital, which is so hot because I'm down with every format. Storytelling should be universal, everyone should have access to literature in the form of their choice. Oh my god, he's sent me to a woggy snowflake, I'm gonna be sick. Look, I don't want you here any more than you want to be here, so just shut up and let me get on with it. E is for experimental. Well, experimentation is the enemy of conformity, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend, so experimentation is hot. Without people striving forward and pushing the boundaries of creativity, we'd never get masterpieces like Bandersnatch or awesome bands like Scene Queen. Yeah, I like them. F is for fantasy, which is hot, although overall I do prefer writing it to reading it. G is for graphic novels, which I can't access and that makes me unbelievably jealous, but they're still hot. Speaking of experimentation, if anyone can figure out how to make graphic novel audiobooks a thing, that would be amazing! H is for horror, and that is hot. I enjoy a good slasher, and I used to think that I didn't like supernatural horror, but earlier this year I finally caved to the incessant peer pressure and watched The Haunting of Hill House, which was mint. I is for inspirational, and that's obviously hot because who doesn't like inspiration? J is for journalism, and that's not hot because I'm just not about to sit down and read a news article with a screen reader. Most news websites are absolutely peppered with adverts, and they make screen reader navigation absolutely impossible. Yeah, I feel strongly about that. So, K is for kitsch, and I wasn't totally clear on what that meant. Other people have said it's like Hallmark movies, which I'm also unfamiliar with. I asked ChatGPT what it meant, and this is what it said. Kitsch refers to works which are characterised by excessive sentimentality, melodrama, or cliched and tacky elements. These books often prioritise superficial appeal over depth and originality, sometimes resulting in a style which is considered overly sentimental or trite. Kitsch is subjective. What one person views as cosy and nostalgic, others may view as tasteless and overly commercial. That's so sassy. Right, so I'm picturing holiday romance with a punny title where the protagonist has to save their artisanal family business and also fall in love in the process. Generally speaking, I'd say not hot. It really is a case-by-case basis though. There are going to be good and bad examples of that genre, and sometimes people just want a wholesome read. Although, those sort of books do usually include really tasty food descriptions, and that makes me hungry, but I have very little self-control, so I need to avoid them. So yeah, not hot. L is for library, and they're hot. The kids in my neighbourhood weren't very nice to me, and I didn't particularly like wandering the streets, so I spent a lot of time in my local library, which sounds bad, but it's true. The thing is, even as a teen, my sight was shit. I often describe it as being like a kid's drawing, big blocks of colour with no detail. If I wanted to know what was on the bottom shelf, I'd just sit on the floor, sort of scooting along, pulling them out one by one to take a look. And I would inspect those bookshelves top to bottom, so the library was a fairly active experience for me. M is for mystery. So hot. N is for non-fiction. Not hot. I've read 4 non-fiction books in my entire life. The autobiographies of Billy Piper, Richard Hammond, and professional wrestler Daniel Bryan, as well as Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs by Caitlin Dowdy. I just tend to read for entertainment rather than education, to be honest. O is for omnibus, which for my UK friends made me think of the soap opera omnibuses. Is omnibus the plural of omnibus? Well, I don't know. Either way, it's a collection of stories, and so I think an anthology would count, and I'd say hot. P is for poetry, which is hot. I really enjoy spoken word. I like writing it, but I find it difficult because I struggle to find subject matter. Q is for quest, which usually involves a found family, or at least a group of good friends, and I enjoy character banter. Plus, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, so I'm bound by law to say hot. R is for romance. Again, I'm a character-driven reader. Romances tend to focus on 2 characters getting to know each other and having a good time. I like that. I know there's usually a misunderstanding, but they're pretty much always fine after a chapter or 2. S is for sci-fi, and despite being a huge Doctor Who fan, I think I'm going to have to say not hot. I love time travel stories, but for the most part, robots, aliens, and space just don't do it for me. Not my cup of tea. T is for translation, and I haven't technically read any translated works, but I am narrating Monsters Within by Catarina the Bookworm, which is translated from Portuguese, and I really like that, so I'm gonna say hot. U is for Ubermensch, or Superman. Basically, do I like overpowered characters? I'd say in general I don't, so it's not hot, but there's definitely exceptions. Sometimes I just enjoy a cool, unstoppable badass, especially if they're a bit grumpy. That's my sweet spot. V is for Victorian, and the only Victorian fiction I've ever read is The War of the Worlds, which I enjoyed, so I'll say hot. Hey, I thought you said you didn't like aliens. I said for the most part. So pedantic, and don't you lecture me on consistency when your voice is nowhere near the same as it was at the start of this video. W's for Western, and even though at this point Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of my favourite stories of all time, I suspect that may be the exception to the rule, so I'm gonna have to say not hot. I agree with you, nondescript cowboy caricature. X is for X-rated. Oh my. Yeah, I'm a man-child and I'm just too immature. I have to giggle at the steamy descriptions, so not hot. Y is for young adult, and unfortunately I think I've moved past that now. Not hot. Z is for Zeitgeist, which means something that captures the spirit of the time. I don't usually enjoy period pieces, but you could probably argue that Peaky Blinders and Life on Mars are attempts to capture the zeitgeist of their respective periods, and I enjoy both of those, so I'll say hot. Alright, fine, I'll admit it. I might have been forced to make some binary choices, but I had fun with this in the end. Seriously though, thanks to both Joe and Mary for tagging me, and another Bibliophile Reads for creating this tag in the first place. It's pretty much impossible to keep up with everyone who's been tagged in this sort of situation, so I apologise if this is a double, but I'm going to go with Flossie from the Grape Jelly Library because she's lovely, and if you're not aware of her channel, you should be. Have you enjoyed this video? If so, there's lots of relevant buttons to help give me a boost, and if you don't press at least one of them, I'll send Phony Soprano to pay you a visit. Hey, I don't appreciate that. My name's Vinny Machismo, you numbnuts. Yeah, I don't care. Unless you're gonna shoot me. Get lost! If you've got thoughts to share or you fancy a chat, then you know where the comment section is, and all the links to my social media can be found in the description. Thanks ever so much for spending time with me today, guys. Until next time, take care. For now, I'm off, and you should have a... Yeah, how do you like that, you no-good, low-life schmuck? No one disrespects Vinny Machismo. Ah, shit. Now I gotta explain this to the boss.